On record. All right. Good morning, everyone. For the virtual introduction, we have that all participants attending the meeting virtually are asked to
There's
keep
a
their
volume
microphones
button.
on mute. Sorry. Throughout the meeting, commissioners, division staff, respondents, and attorneys participating by camera should remember to unmute themselves before speaking. Please state your name before speaking to ensure a clear and accurate record for both the recording and the preparation of meeting minutes. Speak one at a time and allow patience when waiting for responses, giving participants time to unmute their microphones or account for possible audio delays. Members of the public will be allowed to participate during the agenda items regarding public comment at the beginning of the commission meeting and before the meeting adjourns. Anyone participating by phone who would like to provide public comment should press *5 to raise their hand and be recognized by hosting staff, or press *6 to unmute and state their name. Participants attending by video may use the raise hand feature to be recognized by hosting staff or unmute themselves and state their name before speaking. All questions, issues, or concerns arising during the meeting should be directed via email to the Commission Coordinator, Maria Gallo. The coordinator's contact information is provided in the meeting agenda. The agenda, along with all supporting documents, are available on the division's website. If the meeting goes into closed session, all members of the public and division staff not involved with the agenda item will be placed in a virtual lobby. After closed session has ended, participants placed in the virtual lobby will be brought back into the meeting to hear and/or view the commission make a decision. To receive CE credit, your camera must remain on throughout the meeting, and you must give the meeting your full attention. Once the meeting adjourns, CE certificates will be emailed within 5 business days. If you have questions, please contact Barry Chappell in the appraisal section. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Now is the time and place for the Real Estate Division Commission of Appraisers of Real Estate meeting. We'll start out with introductions of the commissioners. Is there a commissioner here?
Sure. I'm Commissioner Morris. I've been appraising for about a decade. I live in Elko, Nevada. Lived there pretty much my whole life.
Commissioner Kruger?
Thank you. Good morning. Scott Kruger, certified general appraiser, been appraising since 1989. A wide range of primarily commercial properties throughout Nevada.
Commissioner
Commissioner
Lowe.
Lowe?
Commissioner Lowe, I've been in Vegas 12 years, appraising for 20 years, in Utah previously, SRA certified residential.
Great. And I am Commissioner O'Brien. I am based in the Reno area and cover much of rural Nevada. And I have been 25, 30, 35, I don't know, over 30 probably. Lose track after a while. So those are the introductions of the commissioners. I'd like to call the administrator to introduce staff.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mr. President, Sharat Chandra, Administrator for the Real Estate Division. We've got Deputy Administrator Sharbaz Foger here. From the Administration Section, Sharice Bates, Maria Gallo, Amy Reverend. Up north, we've got Jim Silva in there. And also we've got Chief Rebecca Bruce here. And Commission Counsel Stephanie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. For the record, Stephanie Aiken-Goodman.
Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, next we'll move to
I apologize.
Next, we'll move on to public comment. Members of the public are encouraged to address the commission regarding any matter. However, no action may be taken on a matter. No comments may be made regarding a matter that is may or may not be the subject of a formal complaint before the commission. Comment may not be eliminated based on viewpoint. Persons who desire to submit written testimony should submit it to the commission coordinator. Anyone participating over the phone that wants to provide public comment should press *5 on your phone to raise your hand, and hosting staff will recognize you. Would like to give public comment, or even press *6 to unmute yourself and state your name. If you're attending by video, click on the raise hand emoji to indicate you would like to give a public comment, and hosting staff will recognize you, or you can unmute yourself and state your name. Again, public comment may be limited to 3 minutes per item at the discretion of the president. We'll start in Carson City. We have no one in attendance from the public. I'll just then throw it down to Vegas. Anyone choose to have public comment?
It doesn't look like anybody here wishes to give public comment. Can we try
All
virtually?
right. Yeah, virtual would be my next step. Anyone virtually wanting to give comment?
Is there anyone attending virtually that would want to give public comment at this time? I am not recognizing anybody with their hand up.
Okay. All right, so we will then move on to possible action and decision on our one case, or wait, I'm sorry, for possible action and discussion, public hearing for the adoption of LCB file number 2. I should run my bus. I'm sorry. R018-25 on April 21st, 2026. Public adoption hearing by the Nevada Commission of Appraisers of Real Estate to receive comments regarding proposed regulations known as LCB file number R018-25, including but not limited to the following: update to the name of the National USPAP continuing education course, update to the name of the National USPAP course, standards for insufficient fund transactions, requirements for intern experience hours, requirements for residential appraiser experience, requirements for certified residential experience, requirements for certified general experience, standards for licensing reciprocity, standards for supervisory appraiser status, education requirements for renewal of certificate and/or license, amended instructor qualifications, and finally additional required instruction courses. And I will turn it over to the administrator down in Vegas.
Good morning, commissioners. Teresa is going to go over the kind of the preview and then kind of read through the sections. We've kind of had this a couple of times before, you folks. If you recall, these were originally brought in front of the commission as temporary regs because we were in the middle of session. And I think at this point, this is the permanent reg file number. And so we're just looking to go through this process. And then if the commission so desires to adopt this, and then we kind of move this on to the next step. If you recall, I think there was a lot of discussion around PREA and kind of around the requirements of it and requiring it to be in the statute. And I know we went around a couple of rounds on that. And so we've removed that language in here. So the only language that's in here, if you recall the last one, there were some definitions for classroom. We were advised by LCB to remove that language because classroom is not really in the regulation. So there's no need to put a definition around it. And so all that language is removed. So really all it is the changes to those sections that you just walked through. So that's just a quick overview of these regulations. And I know there's the minimum, the intern counts. I know Commissioner Scott Cruz has been talking about this for years now. So that's in there too. And then some changes to the USPAP course names. And then of course the experience requirements. So that's all these regulations propose to do. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sherry Spates. I'm Administrative Section Manager for the Real Estate Division. This is the time and place set to receive comments from all interested persons regarding the adoption of regulations that pertain to Chapter 645C of the Nevada Administrative Code, as posted by notice of this workshop on March 20, 2026. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2026, and the time is 9:11. So it's 9:11 a.m. This hearing is scheduled to begin at 9 a.m. At the Nevada Business Center located at 3300 West Sahara Avenue, 4th floor in the Nevada Room in Las Vegas, 89102. We are also video conferencing to the Nevada Division of Insurance located at 1818 College Parkway, Suite 103 in the conference room in Carson City, 89706. The hearing today is being facilitated through the Teams program. Members of the commission present in Las Vegas, we have Commissioner Kruger, Commissioner Lowe, and in Carson City, we have Commissioner O'Brien and Commissioner Morris. And sitting in today as Division Counsel is Stephanie Akingood. So at this time, the process for the adoption hearing, as Administrator Sanders stated, each section will be read out. We will still allow for public comment after each section is read. At the close of all of the sections, we will again allow for a general public comment period so that the public can respond or provide comment on any of the sections. So again, there will be time allotted after each section. We'll go through from Carson City, Las Vegas, and virtual. And then at the end of the regulation, the reading of the regulation will open it up once again. And then after that time, we will close that to allow for the commission for discussion and adoption. So are there any questions or anything before we start? Okay, sounds good. Septoma water, we should be good to go. So we'll start it's on page 3. I have a copy. And I will say also that copies of the regulation, small business impact statement, and small business impact survey are located on the division's website, but they're also located in the physical locations as well. So section 1, chapter 645C of NAC is hereby amended by adding thereto the provisions set forth as sections 2, 3, and 4 of this regulation. Section 2, National USPAP Continuing Education Course means the 7-hour National USPAP Continuing Education course developed by the Appraisal Foundation. And section 3, National USPAP course means the 15-hour National USPAP course developed by the Appraisal Foundation. And I'll stop there for public comment. So any public comment on sections 1 through 3 in Las Vegas? Carson City?
Carson still has no general public here. So it's just commissioners and Mr. Silva.
Thank you. And virtually?
Yes, is there anyone attending virtually wanting to make comment on sections 1, 2, or 3? I do not recognize anybody with their hand up.
Thank you, Amy. Section 4, number 1, if a person submits a check or draft to the division to obtain a license, permit, certificate, registration, approval, accreditation, or other type of authorization to engage in an activity for which authorization is required pursuant to this chapter or chapter 645C of NRS, and the check or draft is returned to the division because the person had insufficient money or credit with the drawee to pay the check or draft, or because the person stopped payment on the check or draft. A, the license, permit, certificate, registration, approval, accreditation, or other type of authorization obtained by the person from the division is involuntarily inactivated. Or B, if the person has not obtained the license, permit, certificate, registration, approval, accreditation, or other type of authorization from the division may refuse to issue or reinstate the authorization. Number 2, in accordance with NRS 353C.115 and NAC 353C.400, the division shall charge a person for each check or draft returned to the division because the person had insufficient money or credit with the drawee to pay the check or draft, or because the person stopped payment on the check or draft, a fee of $25 or such other amount as may subsequently be required by NRS 353C.115 and NAC 353C.400. And that concludes section 4. Is there any public comment in Las Vegas on section? Thank you. Carson City?
At this time, there are no general public members in Carson City.
Thank you. And Amy, can you pull virtually, please?
Yes, is there anyone attending virtually who is interested in providing public comment on section 4? I do not recognize anybody with the interest in providing public comment.
Section 5, NAC 645C.005 is hereby amended to read as follows. As used in this chapter, unless the context otherwise requires, the words and terms defined in NAC 645C.006 to 645C.0095 inclusive and sections 2 and 3 of this regulation have the meanings ascribed to them in those sections. I'll continue to 6. Section 6, NAC 645C.065 is hereby amended to read as follows. Number 1, in addition to any other applicable requirements, A, an applicant for a license as a residential appraiser must furnish proof satisfactory to the commission that the applicant has successfully completed at least 1,000 hours of experience gained as an appraiser or while in the employment of a certified appraiser as an intern during a period not less than 6 months before applying for a license. An applicant may not apply for a license until at least 6 months after he or she commenced working as an appraiser or intern. The applicant need not have worked exclusively as an appraiser or intern during the period of employment and need not have worked a specific minimum number of hours in the workday. B, an applicant for a certificate as a residential appraiser must furnish proof satisfactory to the commission that the applicant has successfully completed at least 1,500 hours of experience gained as an appraiser or while in the employment of a certified appraiser as an intern during a period not less than 12 months before applying for a certificate. An applicant may not apply for a certificate until at least 12 months after he or she commenced working as an appraiser or intern. The applicant need not have worked exclusively as an appraiser or intern during the period of employment and need not have worked a specific number of hours in the workday. C, an applicant for a certificate as a general appraiser must furnish proof satisfactory to the commission that the applicant has successfully completed at least 3,000 hours experience gained as an appraiser or while in the employment of a certified appraiser as an intern during a period not less than 18 months before applying for a certificate. An applicant may not apply for a certificate until at least 18 months after he or she commenced working as an appraiser or intern. The applicant need not have worked exclusively as an appraiser or intern during the period of employment and need not have worked a specific minimum number of hours in the workday. Not less than 1,500 hours of those 3,000 hours must relate to the appraisal of commercial real estate or real estate suitable for or consisting of more than 4 residential units in one transaction. And then I'll guide your attention to the sections have been renumbered to section 2, section 3, and there is a change under section 3. So I will read that with the word or. The burden of proof is on the applicant to establish to the satisfaction of the division that he or she has completed the number of hours of experience required by this section. To meet his or her burden of proof, an applicant may submit A, for work accomplished in Nevada after January 1st, 1990, the form required by NAC 645C.120, or B, a log similar to the form required by NAC 645C.120. And that completes the changes for section 6. So we will take public comment for sections 5 and 6 in Las Vegas. Start. Seeing none, Carson City.
This time, Carson City has no general public attendees.
Thank you, sir.
And is there anyone attending virtually wanting to give public comment on sections 5 and 6? Yes, I do have Scott DeBazio. I apologize. Go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name, and provide your comment.
Great. Thank you very much. For the record, Scott DeBazio, Director of Government Relations with the Appraisal Institute. Appreciate the opportunity to just make a very brief comment and thank the Commission for finally adopting the experience requirements as they are in the 2018 real property appraiser qualification criteria. That's when those changes were made, and they continue to be in the most recent version of the criteria, the 2026 version, I believe it is. So thank you for adopting those changes, and did want to just once again express our disappointment that Nevada is the only state in the nation that has indicated that you will not be accepting POREA. Every other jurisdiction, with the exception of a couple of the territories that haven't gotten to it yet, every other jurisdiction has already adopted or is in the process of adopting PAREA as that alternative to satisfy the experience requirements for licensure or certification. But Nevada has indicated that you will not be adopting PAREA, and just wanted to once again express our disappointment. And we will take this to Carson City next year. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Is there anyone else who's interested in giving public comment on sections 5 and 6? I am not recognizing anybody else.
Seven, NAC 645C.068 is hereby amended to read as follows. A registered intern must attend at least one meeting of the commission before he or she may apply for a license or certificate. The division shall, on behalf of the commission, certify to the attendance of the registered intern and issue the registered intern a certificate of attendance. A registered intern who applies for a license or certificate must submit with his or her application a certificate of attendance issued pursuant to this section. Pause for section 7. Are there any public comments in Las Vegas for section 7? No. Okay. Carson City?
At this time, there are no public attendees in Carson City.
Thank you.
And is there anyone attending virtually who want to provide public comment on section 7? I do not recognize anybody interested in providing comment.
Thank you, Annie. Okay, we have minimal changes on the next few sections, so I will probably read at least 8, 9, and 10 together. There's a lot of skipping around. So we'll start with on page 7, section 8. NAC 645C.108 is hereby amended to read as follows. Number 1 says a supervisor appraiser must, and we'll skip down to E, not supervise more than 3 registered interns at a time. And that is the only change in section 8. Section 9, following right behind, NAC 645C.231 is hereby amended to read as follows. The National USPAP course and the National USPAP Continuing Education course required pursuant to NAC 645C.235 to 645C.244 inclusive, 645C.300, 645C.302, or 645C.305 must be taught by an instructor who is a certified appraiser in good standing with the division and who is certified by the Appraiser Qualifications Board of the Appraisal Foundation. And that number 2 has been struck. And so then on section 10, the change is actually on page 9, but I'll at least read opening, which is NAC 645C.235 is hereby amended to read as follows. And then it says number 3 on page 9, an applicant for a license as a residential appraiser is not required to complete a course of instruction that meets the requirements set forth in this section if he or she holds a current license as a residential appraiser issued by another state or territory of the United States or the District of Columbia and is in good standing with the authority which issued the license. So those are the small changes to 8, 9, and 10. So we'll start public comment in Las Vegas for sections 8, 9, or 10. Okay. Carson?
This time, there are no public attendees in Carson City.
Thank you.
And is there anyone attending virtually who is interested in providing public comment on sections 8, 9, or 10? I am not recognizing anybody interested in providing public comment.
Going to do the same. Section 11, the change begins on page 11. So just for you. So we'll do 11 and 12 for sure together. It's like 13. So, but section 11, NAC 645C.237 is hereby amended to read as follows. And then it says a course of instruction for an applicant for a certificate as a residential appraiser must. So we'll go to page 11, towards the bottom. So number 4 says an applicant is not required to meet the educational requirements set forth in subsection 3 if he or she holds a current certificate as a residential appraiser issued by another state or territory of the United States or the District of Columbia and is in good standing with the authority which issued the certificate. And that is the only change for section 11. And so we'll move to section 12, which states NAC 645C. .244 is hereby amended to read as follows. And it says the content of the following course is required pursuant to NAC 645C.235 to 645C.243 inclusive must be as follows. So direct you to page 12, about halfway down. We have added specific classes. So I'll start with F where the change occurs. An overview of real estate markets and analysis, including market fundamentals, characteristics, definitions, supply analysis, demand analysis, and use of market analysis. G now reads, G, ethics and how they apply in appraisal theory and practice. And H, valuation bias, fair housing, or equal opportunity. And then I'll direct you to page 13. And we'll read improvements. Actually, I should read that section so it makes sense. So under the section C, property descriptions that include, and then section 5, improvements by architectural styles and types of construction. Number 6, residential applications. And number 7, special energy efficient characteristics. I think that was the last change for this section. So I can take public comments. We'll start there because I think we have enough section. So are there any public comments for sections 11 or 12? That was kind of messy. In Las Vegas? None? Okay. Carson City?
Just at this time, there are no public attendees in Carson City.
Thank you, sir.
All right. And is there anyone interested in providing public comment that is attending virtually? I do not recognize anybody interested in providing public comment at this time.
Okay, we're almost there, everybody. So section 13, NAC 645C.300 is hereby amended to read as follows. Subsection 1, to renew an active registration license or certificate, the intern, licensee, or holder of the certificate must complete at least 30 hours of continuing education and courses approved by the administrator, including without limitation, at least 7 hours of instruction in the National USPAP continuing education course within the 2 years immediately preceding the application for renewal. Number 2, to reinstate a license or certificate which has been placed on inactive status, a person must provide the division with proof that he or she has met the following requirements for continuing education, including without limitation: A, at least 7 hours of instruction in the National USPAP continuing education course, most recently approved by the administrator. B, for a license or certificate that has been placed on inactive status for not more than 2 years or not more than 2 years, at least 30 hours of instruction in continuing education courses approved by the administrator. And C, for a license or certificate that has been placed on inactive status for more than 2 years, at least 15 hours of instruction in continuing education courses approved by the administrator for each year of inactive status. And we'll just finish out section 14, which is NAC 645C.302, is hereby amended to read as follows. Substitute or number 1, a registered intern must complete every 2 years or at least 30. Sorry, let me start over. A registered intern must complete every 2 years at least 30 hours of courses in continuing education that have been approved by the administrator as a condition of the renewal of his or her registration as an intern. Those courses must include, without limitation, at least 7 hours of instruction in a course on the National USPAP continuing education course. Number 2, if a registration as an intern is not renewed, the person who held the registration must apply for a new registration as an intern before acting or assuming to act as an intern. That completes section 14. So we'll go to Las Vegas. If there is any public comment on sections 13 and 14. Thank you. Carson City.
This time there are no public attendees in person, sir.
Thank you. And Amy?
Yes, is there anyone interested in providing public comment at this time on section 13 or 14? I do recognize Scott Diabazio. Go ahead.
Great. Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity to provide some additional public comment. Just real quick, on section 13, I see that you are appropriately updating the name of the USPAP courses. That's great. Just curious and would suggest that the commission consider also including the new requirement for the valuation bias and fair housing laws and regulations courses. Of course, that is a course that's required for qualifying education. A prospective appraiser has to take the 8-hour course, which consists of 7 hours of instruction and a 1-hour exam. And then for existing licensees, the first time they take the course, they take the 7-hour version, and then every 2 years thereafter, they take the 4-hour version of that course. And I think that this rulemaking would have been a good opportunity to include those requirements in both the sections related to qualifying education as well as continuing education. Now, with all of that said, there is a strong likelihood that that requirement is going to be changing based upon the president's executive order on appraiser modernization. But it's still required as of now, and we think, the Appraisal Institute thinks that you should have used the occasion of this rulemaking to put those requirements in place. So appreciate the opportunity to offer these comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Is there anyone else interested in providing public comment at this time on sections 13 and 14? I do not recognize anybody else interested in public comment.
Thank you. So before we move forward, we will offer for everyone one last opportunity from the public. So if there is any other further public comment on any of the sections 1 through 14, now's your chance. And in Las Vegas. Carson City.
At this point, there are no public attendees in Carson City.
Thank you. And Amy, one more poll, please.
Certainly. Is there anybody attending virtually interested in providing public comment in any of the sections 1 through 14? I am not recognizing anybody with their hand up. Thank you.
Great. Thank you all. So we will close the public portion of the hearing and allow time for commissioner discussion, questions, deliberation, and adoption.
Okay, I just have a question or a comment, basically. This is Commissioner Lowe. On section 10, we removed the 5-year requirement for someone moving from another state to our state. I just want to point out that now someone can go and get licensed through Perea in another state and immediately come and get licensed here.
Administrator Sharat Chandra here for the record. It's a great question, and I think we've talked about that too. The 5-year requirement is something that's not federally required, and so part of our federal audit was that section was pointed out to us that it's not required, and so we have to remove it because it is the reciprocity agreements for federal appraisal, and of course we do recognize the fact that you could go to another state, and that was kind of one of our pitches, is to make sure we adopt Perea because of that other loop, because that would then close that loophole. So if you're in Nevada, then you would not be forced to go to another state to do that, just come back here. And so that was one of the things that we discussed at length, but if that answers your question.
Yep, that's great.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, however you want to take this is Sharat Chandra for the record. However you want to do this, it's up to you. Whether you just want to kind of have a general discussion, make some points, and then commission can take a vote on it as a whole or as sections, or whatever your preference is, and then we'll go from there. Thank you.
This is Commissioner O'Brien. I'm conflicted here because I know myself, Commissioner Kruger have been in other workshops on this. And I think we've had our chance to pose most of our questions. But with the newer commissioners, it might be a good thing to just go at a high level through these items so that they know what they're adapting as we move forward. Does that make sense?
Raj Chandra, Administrator for the record. Yes, sir. Does make complete sense. I think we answered one question from Commissioner Lowe. I think generally, if you look at section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 4, up to section 5, it's just standard language, collection language, and then updating the name of the National USPAP course to specify the 15 hours because those things have changed. Other than that, I think section 6 is the big one with the experience requirements. We've talked about this at length. And so this is something to just line it up to the national standards. Nothing really surprising here. We've talked about it. I know there was some discussion earlier on. Previously, a couple of years ago, we did line up the education requirements to the national standards, and the experience requirements are now kind of something that we're lining up. And then I think the big discussion point was the Korea language, and so we've had a significant discussion about it, and so the consensus at that time was just to remove that language. So we've taken it out. Does that mean we'll not revisit it? No. That at some point we're going to have to, or legislatively, someone may bring that topic up, and we'll have to discuss that. But for now, for these regulations, that's been removed, and then everything else is just cleanup language on the 5-year requirement, and the name of the education courses. We just changed it to continuing education course. If you look at section 14 and 13, that's really it as a high-level summary. I know Commissioner Kruger and Commissioner O'Brien kind of been through this a couple of iterations, and so that's it at a very high level. If there's anything specific, please let me know. But other than that, that's all I have. Thank you.
So commissioners, one of the things that I know people have been vocal on in the past is, can a appraiser maintain more than 2 interns at that point? Obviously, the language here moves it from 2 to 3. That's based on comments from appraisers that have either attended these meetings in person or via technology. So I think we move consistently with other states on that process. And that to me is one of the bigger things opposed to administrative cleanup right now. But we've had that opportunity to workshop that item.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Brien. I missed that one. And then I think the other one was we try to make it easier for interns to attend commission meetings because the requirement for the hours were kind of short sometimes. And so we've kind of administratively accommodate that so that they do attend it, but it doesn't hold them up in that. Thank you.
We'll start down in Vegas. Commissioner Kruger, Commissioner Morris. It's just going into them. Commissioner Kruger, save me here for a minute because I've lost my readers. Can you, any questions that you have right now?
I do. I know we've gone through this extensively. We've had public comment today, brought up a very strong and important point, I believe, in its evaluation bias and fair housing. This just came to my attention recently for my license renewal. It's similarly my understanding that this is currently in effect by the AQB, went into effect January 1st, I believe. It's my understanding that for the continuing education, every 2 years we're required to take 7 hours. The first class has to be 7 hours, then it's 4-hour class after that. I don't believe there are any 4-hour classes. There is a 7-hour class. But I think this may be something we have to add to this, or either now or in the future. I also know that this could very likely go away. So that's something we need to consider.
Thank you, Commissioner Kruger. Shrat Chandra, Administrator for the Real Estate Division. As you know, this process is elongated. My understanding is if we do make that change now, I don't think it materially impacts the regulation. in those terms. And so we may not have to come back for another hearing, because anytime you make significant changes to this regulation that's in front of you, we go through this process one more time. And so the question is, we could look at that and could add that piece in here. And I don't believe it's a significant change to come back for a rehearing. It would just be a commission decision to ask the division to look at that language and insert it as part of the annual renewal and the new application. And we could do that, but also we heard some public comment that could change again. And so we want to be careful, because we want to start this and then again, it changes. And then here we are, another change. So because the process is long and we also go into a legislative session, my advice would be maybe we come back and reconsider, because we're going to make some changes based on what happens in the legislature. We're going to have to come back and potentially look for some changes in regulation. Maybe we can look at it at that time if nothing has changed, and to add that would just be my comments. Thank you, sir.
I don't have,
Commissioner O'Brien, one quick question. Do we have the bias course currently completed, offered, approved at the state of Nevada?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Thank you.
All right. Are you, any more questions from you, Commissioner Kruger?
No, sir.
Commissioner Lowe, any questions you'd like to pose? I know this is probably newer to you and commissioners coming onto the commission more, opposed to us dinosaurs that have legacy with this. So now's a great time to ask any questions that you might have.
nope, the two things I had written down have been discussed, so I don't have anything further.
Great. Mr. Morris?
This will be in the same general realm as all these changes. All of these changes are obviously to streamline the process of getting new appraisers in and getting them hit the ground running. Is there anything being done administratively to streamline that process once the application comes into the administration? I've had 2 trainees personally where the turnaround time takes about 3 months from submission to them getting their piece of paper. I was just wondering if there's anything being done administratively to get that process a little more smooth or quicker, because that's a lot of downtime in between when someone is approved to when they can actually start working.
Raj Chandra, Administrator for the Real Estate Division. Good question. 2 things I'll say. Generally speaking, our goal has always been to smooth out that process. We are in the middle of a technology update, upgrade to move everything online. So license applications to attachments to everything is going to move digitally. No more mailing and stuff, no more all of that stuff, confusion. And so that's one piece of it. So that's a big initiative. We're almost halfway, I would say 60%. And then the rollout will happen. Obviously, there's going to be a little time frame on that, which may vary, but the goal is to move everything to an online platform. And we're here if someone wants to come in, but really you can do everything online. You should be able to do it. Second, from a practical perspective, if you have issues like that, I need to know. Because our folks are excellent at what they do, but sometimes things may get stuck because of a lack of, getting the right information back or some miscommunication. We need to know that, because ultimately our goal, and everyone speaks the same language here, is to get you from A to Z as smoothly as possible, as quickly as possible. So if there's anything that's stopping that to happen, we need to discuss it and address it, because there's no need for a delay. There shouldn't be any. So that's just very specifically to those issues. We just need to know. Again, Charisse gets phone calls all day, coordinates it. So just a quick email to her to say, hey, this is where we are, and we'll try to get back to you. Because the appraisal group is not very large. It's a small community. We are very focused on getting people into work and start performing, And so we're not going to take it personally. We just need to know about it, and then we'll fix it, if that answers your question. Thank you.
Thank you. That's all great to know. I know you guys work hard and you guys do a great job. I just know with the 3.6 change coming up, we may lose quite a few appraisers at some point, and getting as many as we can running as quickly as possible always helps. So thank you guys for your work.
And just to clarify, Commissioner Morse, we're looking just at the regulation package at this point.
Yep.
These are questions that could also be posed later in the items and the discussions of the folks presenting. I think timely to bring it up, but I'd love to just get this item wrapped up, and then we have time with the administrator and staff. Perfect. And I have nothing further on this as well. Do you require a vote from the commissioners, or is this something that can be adopted without the commissioner vote?
Sure, Administrator for the Real Estate Division. Yes, sir. We will need a formal vote on the matter, so you can just take it as a whole and just the file number, and then make a recommendation, and then a formal vote would be the way to go. Thank you.
Do I hear a motion from anyone in regards to this summary document from the workshop and acting on the regulation? You're going to make the guy with the shoes who can hardly read without him to make a motion? All right. See how it is.
President O'Brien, this is Commissioner Kruger. In the matter of the third revised proposed regulation of the Commission of Appraisers of Real Estate, LCB file number R018-25. I move for approval of adoption as it is currently rented, or as it currently reads, and how it was presented.
Commissioner Lowe.
And a second. All right, great. Thank you. So the matter is now for a vote, unless there are any further questions for the commissioners. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We still need votes from Vegas. We don't have a quorum without you guys voting.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. It is the item of record there is passed 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Before we move on to the next item, I understand that there may have been some changes since the agenda was set out. Is this a matter that we are going to hearing with, or a settlement?
Just go ahead and call it, and then the DAG will inform.
Fair enough. All right, so the next case is disciplinary action, discussion, and possible action by the commission. This is in regard to NRED versus Braden C. Critchlow for possible action, case number 2023-449, license number A.0003929 CR.
Good morning, Commissioners. Just stating my name, making my appearance here, Phil Sue, Senior Deputy Attorney General on behalf of the division.
Good morning. Good morning, Attorney Taylor Simpson on behalf of Braden Critchlow.
Thank you. Commissioners, the current status of this one, the parties actually have reached settlement terms. We were unfortunately unable to get a signed stipulation before you, but we are prepared, however, to present to you the terms of the settlement, and we could go ahead and proceed that way and have you decide about the signed document in front of you. If you're in agreement with those terms, then we'll make sure that the documents are signed and then presented to President O'Brien after this meeting. So at this point, my suggestion, or my proposal, is that I read the terms of the settlement stipulation, including the it's up to you if you want me to summarize or to read the facts and the violations to the record, and then I will read the proposed settlement language.
This is Commissioner O'Brien. I'm fine if you want to summarize. If any of the commissioners want a more in-depth reading, I'm certainly willing to agree to that as well too. But
Very good.
commissioners, any a direction either way, summary, or do we want to go through the list of items into the record?
Summary's fine.
Agreed.
Summary is great.
Okay, let's do that. And obviously questions could occur at the end of it if we have some, but I'll turn it over to legal counsel and could present the summary.
Okay, thank you very much. So in June of 2023, the division received a complaint from complainant Ronald G. Coleman. He was a review appraiser. He actually was a standard three reviewer hired on behalf of FHA to review the appraisal report produced by respondent Braden Critchlow for property at 7209 Old Mission Drive in Las Vegas. And he alleged in his complaint that Mr. Critchlow used poor comparables that apparently inflated the value of the appraised property. Investigator contacted Mr. Critchlow, who provided his work file. And then in February 13th of 2025, the division commissioned a standard three review of the appraisal report completed by Grace Lombardo on March 27th, 2025. Among the reasons cited by the investigator for referral to the commission were numerous possible use cap violations and respondents' numerous prior disciplinary actions and cases that resulted from in one formal hearing in 2006, 2 hearings in 2007, and 3 hearings in 2009. And that among the factual allegations there, the investigation noted that although the appraisal report provided 2 adjustments to the sales grid, for example, $35 a square foot for gross living area, $2,000 for fireplace, there was no data in the appraisal report such as a paired sales analysis to indicate how such adjustments were extracted from the market or otherwise determined. And the appraisal report failed to properly and accurately identify and report material to appraisal ranging from comp conditions. For example, characterizing comp 1 had recently been remodeled as a C4 condition rather than a C3 category property, and prior sales of property within the last 3 years, including one March 4th, 2020 for $104,791 to the listing history of the property, which was lower, which list price was lowered from $349,000 in November 2022 to $340,000 on March 2023 per MLS. So an additional allegation, the respondent did not use recent model match comps that were located in the subject subdivision that sold for lower prices than the comps that were used in his appraisal report. Instead, used comps outside of the subject subdivision that sold for higher prices. Because of that, the division alleged the following violations of law. There are 17 total. The respondent violated the use cap ethics rule, use cap record keeping rule, competency rule, scope of work rule, standards rule 1-1 subsection A, standards rule 1-1 subsection B, 1-1 subsection C, 1-2 subsection H, 1-4 subsection A, 1-5 subsection A, 1-5 subsection B, 2-1 subsection A, 2-1 subsection B, 2-2 subsection A, 8, 2-2 subsection A 10, 2-2 subsection A 14, and rule 2-3 subsection A. And so the proposed settlement terms. By entering into this stipulation, the respondent does not admit to the factual and legal allegations set forth above, but nevertheless agrees to waive his right to contest the above alleged facts and violations if the stipulation is approved by the commission. Accordingly, in an effort to avoid the time and expense of litigating these factual and legal issues before the commission, as well as any possible further legal appeals, the parties are compromising on the following terms. 1, respondent agreed to pay the division a total of $15,089.60. That consists of a $10,000 administrative fine and pre-hearing attorney's fees in the amount of $4,009.60, and the division's costs, $1,080. The amount due shall be payable to the division in 36 monthly installments of $419.16, with first payment due 30 days after the effective date of the order approving the stipulation. The respondent agrees to take a minimum of 8 hours of continuing education credits in the following areas: not less than 4 hours in appraiser, self-protection, documentation, and record keeping, and not less than 4 hours on ethics, competency, and negligence. Those courses are to be completed within 3 months of the effective date of the order and will not count towards the respondent's continuing education requirements. Proof of completion must be submitted to the division upon completion of all required education. The remaining language in the stipulation is standard. Please let me know if you have any questions.
I do not believe we have any questions at this point, other than Mr. Simpson, have you reviewed this with your client?
Yes, I have had a chance to review this with my clients. We are in agreement with the division on this matter, or the Attorney General's office on this matter. Mr. Critchlow does, Mr. Critchlow is interested in continuing his practice and in ensuring that all of his work product in the future will be up to standards. To that effect, I just want to kind of point out that the way that we had kind of structured this settlement is towards that effect, is to hopefully get it to where, you know, he can continue to practice because this is his sole, you know, way of earning a living. But at the same time he's recognizing that there were things that he had done improperly and that he would like to, you know, through the education and through other means to be able to get it to where he can up his work product to where it should be. To that effect, we're in agreement with the Attorney General's office and would seek that the commission approve the settlement.
Great, thank you. Commissioners, any questions that we want to pose to Mr. Simpson that we didn't cover, or any other items in general?
Commissioner
No
Lowe,
questions.
I have a question. On the education, it seems that the violations had a lot to do with comps and adjusting. So I'm wondering if there should be some education in there on one or the other or both of those topics.
The way that I understand, and again, I'm not an appraiser, I'm an attorney, but the way that I understood it is that he had used quite a few of supporting comps and sales data. However, the area in question hadn't had a whole lot of history in the last couple of years, and so he was forced to go a little bit, you know, expand the scope a little bit. If the commission is wanting him to do so, he would be happy to include extra education. I would point out, though, that, you know, there are the standard continuing education requirements, which he was, you know, fulfilling on a constant basis. These 8 hours are in addition to what the normal educational requirements are. So, you know, for this next set, he's going to be 8 hours over what the other one is.
Commissioner Lowe, any other questions or follow-up?
Actually, if I may, Bill Stu for the record, I am conferring with the Chief Compliance Officer regarding the proposal that Commissioner Lowe brought up. I will note that the division's position as far as the education, it came from consultation with our investigator. And right now, I think what Chief is looking at is what potential course offerings are available specific to the area of comps. Definitely within the 8 hours that are outlined in the settlement agreement, we can make those adjustments. We would need to confer with Mr. Simpson if we want to add hours to the 8. But I don't know if that's something that he could consult with his client about. That would be a material change to the settlement, so we would have to have that client's approval first. But as far as changing some of the courses from what's been listed to that to reflect the comp coursework, I think that's workable. But we're trying to see what course offerings are for company.
We do have course offerings, and then there's also the corrective course offerings through the Appraisal Foundation. I believe 4 hours is the standard on the corrective education.
So yes, I believe 4 hours. They're not fungible, but it's 4 hours per course. And so if we wanted to change subject to the course, I guess that's contingent on Attorney Simpson making sure his clients on board with that. But it's totally doable if that's something the commission's preference is to make that change.
I can run it by my client, but generally speaking, my client's happy to do whatever educational requirements are necessary. Again, the stated goal, and my client's insistent on making sure that, his work product going forward is up to standard. So if we want to modify the 4-hour requirements, the 2 4-hour requirements to include other areas of education, without speaking to him, I don't think it would be an issue. So.
Commissioner O'Brien here. I guess a logistic question to our folks in Las Vegas. Can we approve the settlement even though we don't have the final copy of it? And does that allow us to tweak the hours?
Thank you. Yeah. Oh, I see. That might be a question directed to Commission Counsel. But if you want me to wait.
I'm sorry, did you toss it back to me?
I did double check, and yes, you could change the hours on the record if both parties agree.
Yes, Phil Stu, just want to add, the way I'm looking at this situation here, it's akin to you all coming to a decision on a contested case, and I will reduce that to some kind of final order. In this case, it's not an order, it's a stipulation that we initiate into, but we would make that stipulation reflect what the commission desires. So if you want to make that change, we can make that change.
Commissioner Lowe, well, I would suggest that there's some education on adjustments, supporting those adjustments, because that's a big issue and topic throughout the industry where people are having issues. So I think that is, in this case, relevant.
This is Taylor Simpson
It
on behalf
makes-
of.
Sorry, it's Commissioner O'Brien. Would it make sense for us to break out for 10 minutes and allow some housekeeping stuff to be done on this? Or are we ready to go with and just understand the wording? I guess the reason I asked that is we've had many appraisers not come before the commission and just try to push these under the rugs. I think it is a positive item that the work file was presented, that the appraiser wants to do in making changes into his business, which is all good things for me. I just not having the final consent order in. I don't know how far we're on that. Are we 5 minutes away, 15 minutes away? I'd rather not have to carry this over to the next session if at all possible.
Phil Super record. I would want Mr. Simpson to weigh in, but it may make sense for us to talk for 10 minutes and make sure that we are on the same page on this particular proposal. I will note, though, I spoke to Chief Bruce and he notes that there's a sales comparison approach reconciliation course that's 4 hours that could be added or changed, modified in this agreement to address Commissioner Lowe's concerns.
This is Taylor Simpson on behalf of Mr. Critchlow. I think that maybe that 10-minute breakout may be a good idea. Let me just make sure that I'm understanding the commission's proposal. Would this be an additional 4 hours already to the 8 hours, so there'd be 12 hours total, or are we looking at modifying the existing 8 hours to include the class that Mr. Sue just brought up?
I think it's hard to answer that question without seeing the final settlement. For me, if there's a class that we could substitute out, great. I'm not trying to punish the appraiser with this item, just that we're getting the most pertinent data and education to help him assist. So why don't we do this? It is 10:04. Let's come back at 10:15 if that works. And that way, Sue and Mr. Simpson may be able to have a quick conversation.
Okay.
That work for
Understood.
everybody? Vegas, does that work for you?
Feels good for record. Yeah, it certainly does. Thank you.
All right. Back at 12 or back at 10:15, 10:18, something like that. How are we doing in Vegas? Are we gonna still be able to go?
Hold on, we have just one commissioner that needs to come back. And Amy, do we have you?
Yep, we are here. Everybody ready to go?
And Attorney Simpson?
Are we good to go?
For the attorney.
The attorney's not. At home.
Well, then why don't we stack the agenda a little here differently, go into the reports from the different individuals on staff, and then when Mr. Simpson comes back and we can tie that up. That work?
Oh, I believe Mr. Simpson, we can, but I believe Mr. Simpson should be online.
It's online, it's just not on camera.
Right, yeah, he is still attending.
All right.
Sorry, I'm hitting the camera button and then the mic button and then like my computer freezes. I'm not quite sure what's going on.
But we can hear you, so we at least know you're there.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm gonna try and get this camera to work. I keep pushing the button.
I don't know, did you put the cover on?
No, it just like I get the
Oh.
spinning wheel of death when I push one of the buttons. You know, let me just try resetting my camera. It'll be 1 second.
I think we'd be okay if we can do that. We can hear you. We know you're there.
Bill, for the record, I believe that as long as he can hear and participate in the proceedings, unless the commissioners would like to have him be able to provide video appearance as well.
We can use verbal. It's fine. As an agreement coming
Yeah.
up, or do we still, okay.
Bill, for the record, yes, we have fortunately come to terms. We are adding an additional 3 hours of supporting sales adjustments. That's an additional course. So respondent now agrees to a minimum 11 hours of continuing education credits. Again, the 3 subject matters areas are 4 hours on appraiser self-protection, documentation, record keeping, 4 hours in ethics, competency, and negligence, and 3 hours in supporting sales adjustments. Now, these courses shall be completed within 6 months of the effective date. And again, will not count to the respondent's continuing education requirements.
That's correct. Mr. Sue is correct. Essentially, we're adding the 3 hours per Commissioner Lowe's concern and just expanding the time to be able to complete it. My client wanted to make sure that he had enough time to complete that. So just from 3 months to 6 months now.
All right. So any other questions from the commissioners? Do I have a motion to accept the stipulation being presented by Mr. Sue?
This is Commissioner Lowe. I'll make a stipulation to accept the stipulation in the case of Enred versus Braden C. Critchlow, case number 2023-449, license number A.0003929-CR. I make a motion to accept the stipulation as indicated.
I can second that.
And any final questions from the commissioners? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Lowe, did you vote? And I just didn't hear it.
It never picks me up. I don't know why.
No problem. All right, so the commission accepts the agreement that has been settled. That was just discussed, and I think we could move on at this point.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you,
Simpson.
Commissioners.
Thank you, everybody at Vegas. All right. Our next section, we are in section 5, discussion regarding the administrator's report.
Morning, Commissioners. Chair Sharat Chandra, Administrator for the Real Estate Division. Just we'll keep it brief. I think I alluded to this earlier. We are going through a technology upgrade. So we are chugging along, making some progress. I think our goal is the two main things is to move the application piece online, because we've never had a new application online application process. And so that's the big goal for us, is to get that system up and running so someone can apply online and go through all the requirements. And then the other piece is on the education piece. So being able to have the courses, even for course providers. And so we're doing a lot of work on the real estate side. So hopefully all of that kind of translates to the other license types too. So those are the two big ones, either in licensing and in education. And then of course we have the HOA portal. We're hoping to get all the HOA registrations to move online. And so everything kind of is more digital, and then that'll help with the reporting, with the data collection and things like that. So that's the big initiative, and it's going through. And if you recall, part of that was funded through the technology fee that was added to most license types. And so again, thanks to all the licensees for sharing some of that cost of for the division's technology. So that's the technology project. The only other thing is we are already in the process of working through our budgets for the next session and items. My understanding is at this point, the division is going to once again try to move the agency towards a self-funding model. And for those folks that are new or don't remember this, essentially the division is bifurcated. We are self-funded in the HOA space, which is there's a per door fee that's charged to HOAs, and that money funds the ombudsman's office and all the services that come along with that. On the real estate side, we are dependent on the general fund for our budget. So all the licensee fees that come in, that doesn't come to the division, it goes to the general fund, and then the general fund allocates a budget to us, which we need to operate under. And of course, because of the challenges in the budgeting cycle and the on and off financial crisis and emergencies that happened. I mean, we can go back to the financial crisis of 16, 17, 18, and then also all the way back to 2011, and then the COVID, and then all of those situations cause us a loss in revenue. And when that happens, we really don't collect enough to sustain our agency. And so then we'd have to go back to the legislature for approval. And so when those crises happens, of course, the state looks to health, education, safety. Those are the priorities. And so we never really are up on that priority list. And so we end up having to cut services or having to cut staff. So if you notice, we don't have a northern location for licensing. And that's because in 2000, and I believe 12 or 13, that was cut back. The offices were closed. All licensing functions were consolidated. So anyway, long story short, we've been trying to move the agency into some kind of a model that sustains the agency, and also that then helps us provide more services to our licensees. Because we don't want to just collect money, we want to provide services, whether it's education, whether it's technology, whether it's improvements to processes, whatever the case may be. The goal is to get us to that level. And to do that, we need a very reliable source of funding. And so that's the idea, to move to a self-funded model. And so my understanding is it's going to go through that iterative process with the governor's office, with the budget, and trying to look to find a solution. And so that's the initiative that we're working on. Everything else, I don't believe there's any big pending matters in real estate that I can see. The only big legislative changes are going to happen in the HOA space, but we still don't know what those are going to be. We have some proposals, but nothing is concrete. So our big lift is going to be the self-funding piece that we're going to work on. internally, we're working on our budgets. I believe we're in a good spot for staffing. The only problem is we are unable to fill those vacancies, and that's the biggest challenge with the state is being able to recruit and fill the vacancies because we do have a considerable amount of turnover. So I think we have some licensing spots that are need to be filled, compliance areas that need filling, some education and project. So those are some of the areas where we're short-staffed, but I think it's cyclical. It kind of goes with the way we operate. Our goal at the division is always to help our employees or our staff develop skills. And so that means they're going to move on to bigger and better things. And then we have to fill those holes. And we also believe in promoting from within. So if we see identify leaders, go-getters, they get an opportunity to move through the division, and which kind of creates that whole like musical chair thing. And so that's the other challenge for us. But those are good problems to have, I think. So we're working towards that, filling those vacancies and then getting everyone trained up so we can kind of provide the services. So that is all I have as far as the administrator's report, and I'm happy to answer any questions from the. Thank you.
Commissioner Lowe, what is the timeframe for the licensing portal? Do you have a timeframe?
Sharat Chandra, administrator for the real estate division. I believe the goal was to get go live June or July, but I think that's overly optimistic in my opinion. That's what the developer thinks that can get done, but just from experience, it's going to be overly optimistic. We're going to push them for that timeline, but I think once we get there, we may decide to gradually bring things online. So we look at them as like modules. So we would probably look at the licensing module to go live and then transition into the other pieces. I don't know how that's going to look, but I think that's our goal. So I would say we should definitely have something September, October. We should have some movement, and then we'll get fully online. We're not going to turn off the old system. We're going to keep it as a backup so that that transition happens. But ultimately, we're going to, close that out and then just transition to the new system. I think it's a challenge in the licensing space. There's very few vendors and very few vendors that kind of do that kind of work. And there's been a lot of consolidation in that area. So big companies buying up small ones and then introducing new products. And now the AI is the big thing. And we've always told our folks, just get us the basic stuff. We don't want the AI. We don't want anything fancy. Just get us simple processes or technology that's reliable, and then that can help our licensees get an application done and smooth out the process. So we're keeping it simple, but even that's been challenging.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Next item is discussion regarding the disciplinary report. Sorry.
Good morning. Again, Sharice Spates, Administration Section Manager for the Real Estate Division. So Commissioners, in your packet, you have the disciplinary report for any items or changes as of April 2nd. This report, again, just outlines any changes to disciplinary orders completed by the licensees or individuals who've come before our commission. So any changes, any payments that they've made since the last commission meeting would be highlighted in yellow. And anyone who has completed their order discipline will show as grayed out, and then it will be removed on subsequent reports. So it's been very steady flow of payments coming in from those who have been ordered to make payments. So that's very good to see. That's our report. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
No questions, but I blame you for making me have to get cheaters now. Probably one that's even worse.
I'm keeping it young. Yeah, focus.
Oh, you're good.
Thank
All right,
you.
thanks very much. All right, third item, discussion regarding Chief Compliance Investigator report on compliance caseload.
Morning, Commissioners. Rebecca Bruce for the compliance section. The report that you have in your packet is the fiscal year compliance numbers through the third quarter, which is ended March 31st, 2026, and all of our year-to-date figures so far. As of March 31st, there are 6 investigations that have exceeded the 365-day mark. One of those matters was on the agenda today, so that will now be closed out. 3 cases are pending the final investigator review, and 2 are being prepared for standard 3 review. Currently, the division is seeking candidates and recommendations for current and upcoming vacancies to the Commission of Real Estate Appraisers. If the current commissioners have any recommendations, or if a licensee is interested in applying, please reach out to the division's appraisal section and speak with Barry Chappell for more information. The division will also begin soliciting new standard 3 contracts in the coming months, standard 3 reviewer contracts. Licensees who are interested in learning more may contact the division's appraisal section, again, Barry Chappell, for additional information or to be added to the interest list for when that process begins. Do the commissioners have any questions about compliance process, caseloads? Commissioner Morris, I know you had a question regarding the processing of the intern logs.
It was mostly just the processing of intern applications for licensing, and how long it was taking, but it sounds like we have a number of vacancies and whatnot, so.
Okay, so was that, was that more regarding the experience verification process or the actual application after the exam has been completed?
That's a great question. I'm not sure.
I can speak.
I think it was after the application had been completed.
Okay, I was to say, I can speak for the process regarding the experience log verification. Unfortunately, I can't speak for the licensing process. About that, I could happily answer those for you.
Well, this I think would be a good item to take offline as we start to lose Commissioner Kruger and myself. It helps kind of see the process a little bit more. But to my point and to your point, as we've gone through here, it's sometimes hard to make comments without all the data. So, I think there's opportunities that could be shared there.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Any other questions? Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. It looks like the letter D for possible action, discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the January 13th, 2026 meeting. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? And if we have motion or any items that need to be changed? Since I'm not hearing any comments or questions, could I have a motion before the commission to adopt the prior meeting minutes?
I'll move to adopt the January minutes.
All right, do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, last call for questions inside the commission on this. Hearing none, we have a vote voting in support and approval of the minutes of the January 13, 2026 meeting. So in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All right, the minutes are so passed. For number 6, possible action, discussion and decision on date, time, place, and agenda items for the upcoming meetings.
Morning again, Sharice Bates, Administration Section Manager. The next meeting is scheduled for July 14th through the 16th. The commissioners will be present. Some in Vegas, possibly some in Carson. We're not sure, but they're scheduled to be in Las Vegas. So I think depending upon the agenda, see, scheduled for Las
Yeah, I'll be making the trip down as well, because I want to say goodbye to everyone, and B, if there are items that work better on in-person discussions, we can see that as that agenda develops.
So we will be in Las Vegas.
And for now, it is the 14th to the 16th, you said?
Yes.
Also known as the hottest 4 days of the year. All right, so we've got that done. One item that I do want to put on as a future agenda item is I think we need to have a quick snapshot of what's happening in the residential world. If you ask 9,999 people, they won't know about this at all, but there is an adoption of new technology and development of appraisal reports. So what that means, I'll just give you an example from my shop, my process. There'll be things that Fannie and Freddie want to adopt, which is referred to as 3.6.1. Much different in terms of how legacy process is done. And that being said, they'll also have potential action, complaints, what have you, on legacy forms, because not everybody is adapting 3.6.1. And then you'll have a third pile of narratives, private bank, hard money lenders, et cetera, that are going to be probably doing what they do today. So I think just giving that items to the commission to chew on would be good. Not saying one way is better or not, but either way, this is supposed to roll out towards the end of the year. So if myself, Commissioner Kruger, could be of any assistance, we certainly would be willing to help. And I know Commissioner Kruger is on the commercial side, but I will certainly be around for one-off questions as well, just at my home in Reno. So if we can get that on the next meeting agenda, I'd appreciate it.
Okay, take it out.
All right. Finally, we have public comments. Members of the public are encouraged to address the commission regarding any matter. However, no action may be taken on a matter. No comments can be made regarding a matter that is or may be the subject of a formal complaint before the commission. Comment may not be limited based on viewpoint. Persons who desire to submit written testimony should submit it to the commission coordinator. Anyone participating over the phone that wishes to provide public comment should press *5 on your phone to raise your hand, and hosting staff will recognize you would like to give public comment. Or you can press *6 to unmute yourself and state your name. If you are attending via video, click on the raise hand emoji to indicate that you would like to give public comment, and hosting staff will recognize you, and you can unmute yourself and state your name. Public comment may be limited to 3 minutes per person at the discretion of the president. So starting out, we have no public here in Carson City, so I will pass now down to Las Vegas.
Anybody here wishing to give public comment? Okay, Amy, nobody here in Las Vegas wishes to give public comment. If you want to poll online.
Is there anyone attending? Oh, I apologize.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
All right. Is there anyone attending virtually who would like to provide public comment at this time? I am not recognizing anybody. Thank you.
All right, then to wrap this up, I propose a motion that we adjourn. I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right,
Aye.
thank you for your time, everyone. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.